In the face of all this new makeup, I've been getting a lot of comments from people wanting me to kind of reach back in history a little bit and update some previous reviews of like brands that I have talked extensively about in the past, or ones that like, even though they're not new, things that I've just never touched on. I'll be honest, I have no idea how that's gonna perform on my channel. I have no idea if people are gonna be like interested in old reviews, like updated reviews, but I'm gonna try it today because Make Beauty sent me a bunch of stuff and I honestly am curious to see if my feelings have changed on their products since I initially reviewed them, I think literally years ago. So I don't have every single thing here, but we're gonna try and pull a look together with what we do have. I have things that they sent me and things that I, have in my collection. I've been keeping up with this brand for a long time. So if I don't have it for the video, it's because it's expired, not because I like have never tried it. So I have the Diffusion Dew Radiant Skin Tint. Gonna open this up. I have the Skin Mimetic Concealer. I remember these being lovely. We'll go into that. I have so many of the blushes. They sent me 5 blushes. I don't know if these are new shades or if they are just like new packaging or whatever, but they're gorgeous looking. I'll swatch all of them and we'll, put some on my face. I also have a Heat Stroke Dewy Gel Tint in Toasted here, which I think is gonna be more of a bronzer. I got a new thing of their Hydrascape. This is the Reverse Emulsion. It's a skincare product. I used to be addicted to this stuff. Like when they would go 20% off, me and Nicolette were just like hoarding it. So at the risk of really messing up my SPF, I think I might put a little bit of this on today and refresh my memory. I have here an Infinite Hold Sculpting Brow Tint. This is something that I do use really regularly. I have it in my like makeup kit in the city. My kit, I'm not a makeup artist. I just have it like in my stash that I keep in the city. So I do love this. And then I pulled a couple of like more challenging, let's say, shades of their multi-chromatic metal reflecting eyeshadows. I'm kind of leaning towards this today. Oh, and then I also pulled out some of their eyeshadow sticks. There's like a zillion of these things. It kind of doesn't feel like it matters which ones I pull as long as there's like a light one and a deep one. So I hope that these work. And for everything else, honestly, I had to declutter it because it expired since reviewing it. But at the end, I can go through the website and kind of rapid fire how I remember what's worth it and what's not. So anyway, I'm just excited to refresh my memory on all this stuff. Let's go ahead and jump in. I'm headed into the city after this. One Mohammed Hindash is in town, so I get to go play with makeup with him. I think we're gonna go to the Chanel Atelier the way that we always do. But yeah, hopefully this turns out cute because I need it to, be wearable for the rest of my day. So this is the Reverse Emulsion. It's called the Hydrascape. And as these products go, I mean, like there's the Nano Emulsion from... There's the Milk from Rhode, whatever. Prices really run the gamut on these things, and this one's pretty well priced as I recall. So again, I used to buy this all the time and it's just this awesome, I love a reverse emulsion. To my understanding, I have no idea, don't quote me on this, but to my understanding, a reverse emulsion is like, there are biphases, and so you like shake them up and you'll see like the oil and the whatever combine before you put it on. And a reverse emulsion is one that's like already emulsified, right? So it's got the hydration and the barrier benefits of occlusion all in one, and it makes the skin really dewy. It could make it even dewier, but I don't want to put that much on. Again, A, because of my sunscreen, but B, everything in their complexion range is really dewy, so I don't want to go too crazy. Ooh, I wonder if I still have their bronzers and their powders. It didn't even occur to me. They have so much stuff. That's right. Their powder bronzer is so good. I might have to hunt that down. We'll see when we get there, won't we? I love y'all following me on this little adventure here. All right, so I got Natural 02. That's the shade that I got in the Radiant Skin Tint. I do remember really liking this in the past, but I also remember it being controversial because it has a little bit of glitter in it. Like very detailed. Ooh, that's really dark. Ooh. Well, we'll figure it out, won't we? Might have to combine it with something. It blends in with my pigmentation. Oh, I'm sure that was really satisfying for some people to be like, I knew it! I knew she's been wearing the wrong shade this whole time. Listen, if I put it down here, it would be game over. Tomorrow, I'm going in for my very first laser treatment ever. So, gonna get some of this pigmentation under control. I'm really tired of doing peels all the time because it triggers my dermatitis. And it just doesn't really, like, it keeps my skin so sensitive for so long after the fact that it's almost not worth it, you know? Yeah, it's actually not, it's really wild how that's like not the worst shade match in the world. Am I delusional? Like, I'm gonna put it down here and just see what happens. I don't know. But yeah, the peels were making me so photosensitive. I feel like everything pigmented twice as fast afterwards, so it doesn't really matter how much sunscreen I wear, stuff like that. I'm hoping that the laser treatment is just less overall stressful on my skin, you know? Okay, so for everyone who's just like, and no, not that many people to be honest, but like one person per video usually is like, that foundation is way too light for you. And I'm like, Lizzie, I'm trying to match my neck. Well, it is a little bit dark, but like it's not that dark. So that was shade 2. That's really lovely. It really is. I mean, I have been in a mood lately for more coverage than that, but for what it is, it's really pretty and it's really easy. You know, it's one of those things that I feel like you could put on with your fingers if you were a fingers person. I'm not a fingers person. Let's hope I got a lighter shade in the concealer so we can kind of get a little more brightness. I feel it kind of avalanching towards like, you know, looking like Kris Jenner at the end of it. So, I mean, no shade on Kris Jenner. I just do notice that she has like the foundation line a lot of times. So I got this in 01 Fair N. Yay, that looks better. And this is a concealer that is just absolutely hailed and lauded by the kind of like, I don't know, 50+ set. People just say that this is the kindest concealer to their skin as your skin ages and like shows more signs of maturity. So I have always really liked it. It's pretty low coverage, but I like how hydrating it is. My skin does really just soak up hydration. It's just a matter of like, again, my tastes have changed, so I'm curious whether it's gonna be like too dewy. I recalled it being so ultra dewy, and even with the reverse emulsion under there, I have to say, it's not deal-breakingly dewy. It doesn't look like my face is sweaty. I hear a lot of people complain about that, especially when I do my end of the year roundups and I ask y'all what trends you want to leave in whatever year we're doing. Every single year, there's like 3 things that people say. They're like, stop overdrawing your brows. Not me, but like other people. They're like, stop with like the broom-looking eyelash extensions. And this is not my opinion, this is everyone else's opinion. These are just the answers that I get, the responses. And everyone needs to stop trying to look sweaty with their makeup. Those are just the ones that I see year on year. Okay, so we're talking about like low coverage, but very nice, just really nice. I mean, yes, it has like a mica iridescence to it, but I think that all of our sensitivity to that used to be a lot higher. Like, I think there are so many radiant formulas out now that we've come to accept a certain level of pearlescence as radiance, and I don't think that this is way outside of the lines of like the radiance that we see with like, God, I mean, lately it's been Armani, Tom Ford. It's like this memory game for me because every single one I've been trying has been so shimmery. The new Gucci one, and then CL is very memorably, you know, quite luminous in that way. So yeah, I think that it's become more understood across the board that radiant is meaning that it has reflective particles in it, not that it has like a dewy finish. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm gonna do a little bit more here. But yeah, I mean, like my blemishes are definitely still visible. I'm fortunately not like super broken out right now, but even the ones that are healing are pretty visible. But my nose cracks at the front all the time. So these are not ever boogers. It's literally just like I have this crack in the front of my nostrils because my nose runs constantly. And so skin peels off of right there. If you ever see that, that's just what that is. But yeah, that's a nice finish. I think that that's really, it looks really pretty in person. But if I were like really self-conscious about my pigmentation, this would not be the complexion routine that I would choose necessarily, but I like it. I think it looks really pretty. It does, it feels really secure. It feels really locked in for all of the like dewy finish. Let me see if I've got powder, because I remember I really like that powder. All right, well, we're 1 for 2 because I have the powder. I do not have the bronzer, so I must have decluttered that. I haven't been televising my declutters lately just because they weren't really performing that very well on my channel. It was very disruptive to the setup of my filming situation, and all my declutters had been based on being expired. Not because I didn't like a product or something like that. So it was like pretty boring to watch, you know? It's like, oh, I let this expire. Oh, I let this expire. Like, it's not exactly informative viewing. It's like, congratulations, I've had makeup for a long time. Big deal. Yeah, this is just, I mean, you know, there are gonna be people being like, isn't that expired? Powders are less prone to expiration, I think. And, you know, it's my skin, but yeah, this is definitely old. But I do like that you can wear powder with this foundation because you wouldn't necessarily think you could, you know? It's so dewy, you'd think it would just soak it all up, but it actually works really beautifully. All right, so I have the shade here, Toasted. Oop. She has come out of her component. I'm glad it didn't like fly across the room, but I think that this is gonna be, ugh. So that's really orange, like really, really warm. I'm afraid that's gonna go too kind of like Persona Teddy on me, but that's why we play the game, so let's give it a shot. God, y'all, me and Alex over the weekend we watched a lot of comedy specials. It's like how we decompress. This is actually really pretty. Okay. And we're also gonna put some blushes on. I mean, I guess this is technically a blush, but still. We watched the Jordan Jensen stand-up special on Netflix. Oh my God. That was so unhinged and so funny. She cracked me up. I mean, unhinged. Not for children. But yeah, have y'all watched that? It was so funny. And then we watched Caleb What's-His-Face. He's such an angel baby. We're gonna go see Chris Fleming soon. Love Chris Fleming. And Alex is a huge fan of Pete Holmes, so we're gonna see Pete Holmes as well. Right around Alex's birthday. I'm so excited. Okay, yeah, you know, all the memories are washing back about just how easy this entire line is. I mean, it's stupid. You really don't even have to think about it. Everything's just kind of creamy and agreeable in this way that doesn't kind of pile up on itself and feel gross. I do have hairs stuck to my face, however, and they are tickly. It's dewier than I have been wearing lately, and so I do kind of feel like it's a little bit like things are, you know, itchy. And I do wonder how long it will wear for. It's like really driving me nuts actually over here. Why is it doing that? Stop. It's like there's a hair stuck. Ugh. Cut it out. Let's swatch some blushes. They did send a brush with this, and their brushes are really nice. Seriously, what is stuck to my face? Stop. I'm gonna like scratch a hole in my face. So first we have Rouge Moon, Deep Plum, Euphoric. Just a nice I mean, there's a lot of kind of rosy pinks in here. There's like 3 things that I would kind of call rosy pink. Chroma. The very bubblegum pink. Not even bubblegum, what is that? It was just a deep, true pink. Major Mauve, so rosy, but definitely more towards mauve, which is lovely. I love a good mauve. Probably gonna go in that direction today. And then we have Hyper Nude. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so similar to Mimi from Westman Atelier. And Latte from ABH. They're like the exact same color. So those are the 2 that I think we're gonna use. Let me grab Mimi. So Mimi from Westman Atelier is one of the most like remarkable shades, right? It's just this very, very muted pink that they only sell on the website, on the Westman Atelier website because it's so special. And they're just like extremely similar to each other. So that explains why I like Super Nude. So let's start with Super Nude, and then I might go in with a little bit of that kind of mauvey shade in addition to that. I'm gonna open up the brush, see if it's what I want. It doesn't seem, from the look of the box, like it's going to be big enough for what I would want to use to apply blush with, but I've been wrong before. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, but that's not what I want to apply blush with. So I do think that I'm going to go with like a blue on my eyes. So I don't really want to go too saturated anywhere else. These are quite balanced. I mean, they're definitely dewy, but they're still balanced in their amount of pigment and everything. So you're not just getting like a really syrupy, gooey texture on the skin. You don't have to put too much on, but you do have a lot of control. Again, this is just like kind of idiot-proof makeup, you know? Me being the idiot in question. And it's also kind of nice to not have my normal full beat on. You know, I'm very addicted to my Dior contour and really like sculpting my face, and this is just telling me like, nay, your face is good enough on its own. I'm gonna leave that for now just because, again, we're going into really unfamiliar territory right now, which is I'm gonna do blue on my eyes. I never do blue on my eyes, but we're going to start with the eyeshadow sticks. I've got 4 of them here. They are not the biggest hit in the world for me because like there's very little product in here for the money. They are, I think, yeah, replaceable, and like that's the little tiny amount of actual product that's in there. And then they all like broke as soon as I opened them, so it's not ideal. Yeah, I'm gonna start with this one though. This is Meridian. I think this is gonna be good because again, we're working sort of in cool tones today. So Meridian is quite a cool taupe color. I mean, it is just rare that you'll hear me ever even complain about an eyeshadow stick. If it performs, then, you know, then I'm happy. But I will say, the size of the actual stick is a little bit frustrating on this. I do prefer them to just be a little bit bigger than that. Here we go. Yeah, that's a really nice cool tone. It's not too gray. But again, I'm not really bronzing my skin a lot today. Kind of staying in a little bit more like my natural neutrality. I often push towards warmth just because it's very flattering, you know? Everybody likes looking healthy. I mean, that's a generalization. Some people don't. But for all of the dewiness that was already on my skin from the rest of the makeup, these are definitely like spreading really easily. Like a little too much, honestly, but I think that again, it's like a combination of things, but that's really nice. Let's see if we can get a little bit of depth in the corner here. In the outer corner, I have the shade Umber, and I'll use that kind of smear that right here. Well, that's uneven, but we will figure it out, won't we? So basically it's like I want that blue to stand alone. I obviously want it to be opaque enough that it looks intentional, not some like wash of blue. It's like, what is that? But I do also still want to feel like myself. And so I want the shadow, the illusion in my crease and stuff like that, because it's what's going to give my eyes that shape that I prefer, like once I get my eyeliner on and everything. But yeah, these are very creamy, like very creamy, more so than I would say is like, you know, the eyewear from Victoria Beckham. I would compare them kind of more similarly to the ones from Vive. Vive also has like a little bit, just a touch of sheen to it. And it's only because I've used so many different brands that I would even be discerning enough to notice the difference. They're really like, most of them are very similar to each other. Just gonna blur the edges here and hope for the best. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of disappearing. Like I want to set that with a little bit of a powder. Maybe if I just go in with this lighter shade. Here we have the shade Terrain, and I'm gonna throw that just on the brush, not on my skin. And see if I can just fill a little bit and blend. Yeah, because I just need a little richness. That color was just high contrast and showing up a little bit hollow. I think there are 10 shades. There we go, in this eyeshadow stick. I mean, this is like right within my comfort zone currently. And I know that some of y'all just want to get out and push. Y'all like, stop doing the same eye look. Well, it's about to go blue, so. Yeah, I have a really beautiful champagne color, but I opened it up and it was shattered and I was like, oh, well, blue it is. So this is the shade New Wave. And it's like this, I mean, icy blue. It's really pretty. So I'm gonna just kind of do that on, I don't want to go too high up, like into the crease, but I also don't mind it looking a little bit 2000s, you know? Like I'm gonna do it a little bit underneath my eye as well. It does stick really well because of the eyeshadow sticks, so that's nice. I'm gonna grab that on a little flat brush here. Nope, does not want to do that. Okay, so in this case, something that I like to do is use a sponge tip, usually a clean one. This is just on the end of a Victoria Beckham satin eye kajal, because there's just formulas that don't like to pick up on a brush, and I find that they pick up better on a sponge. Yeah, like that. Because, you know, I could pick that up with my finger, but it would be fairly imprecise. I feel like we really have to like come in hot with this and like believe in ourselves. There's no half measures on blue eyeshadow. I'm gonna grab a little bit of the Ilia Eye Stylus in Opulent here. This is just a really good inner corner shade for me, and it's gonna do a great job of kind of finishing the thought here. Say, highlight that inner corner. So I have that brow product, but I'm still gonna pencil my brows in. I did have the Make Beauty brow pencil and it's quite lovely, but I used it up. And honestly, like, there are a million brow pencils out there. I don't really know what makes one specialer than the next, but I'm gonna use a different one today because I don't have it anymore. So I'm going to use the Cool Brown Infinite Hold Sculpting Brow Tint. I have had their mascara before, but I don't use regular mascaras, regular wash off mascaras. They give me eye infections. I'm gonna just finish out my makeup and then we will do a like speed run of the website of everything else that I have tried and let y'all know my thoughts. Unusual in terms of what you've been used to seeing on my channel recently. I feel like this is definitely not. I experienced so many issues with that brow product that like I feel like it's like built up on my skin right now. Ugh. So let's go through the website real quick and I will give you up or down basically on all the stuff that I have tried from Make Beauty and let you know if like any of this updated it. All right, we're gonna talk specifically about makeup today. They've got a lot of skincare too, but I have only tried a couple of things from them. So the Cream Stroke blush is really pretty. I do feel like it faded a little bit while I was wearing it and I still feel like it's fading a little bit right now. And I feel like Mimi would be the better choice over Super Nude on Hyper Nude in this case, just because I do feel like it holds its own better. It's just a very, very dewy blush. I feel like it's, you know, for people who like that finish on their skin and it's really pretty for what it is. I prefer something that has a little bit more commitment to it, but the colors are gorgeous. The component is really pretty. This is, I believe, been redone. It's really lovely. The multi-chromatic metal reflecting eyeshadow, it serves a really, really niche purpose. It's kind of a unitasker in my mind because it's not actually multi-chromatic. I mean, not that that would change the purpose necessarily, but like, I think if you're going into it thinking it's gonna be like a multi-chrome, you know, that you're used to seeing from an indie brand, it isn't that. It is very, each of them, they look like they're going to have several shades in them in the pan, but they aren't. They're just metal. They're just metal. They're just metallic, you know, they're just a shimmer. And it's pretty, but it's like nothing to specifically write home about in my opinion. Now, when we get into the complexion products, that's when I think that things have a really strong point of view and they just feel more special. It's not necessarily that it's for everyone, but they definitely, again, have a point of view. I feel like it's just gonna make your skin look healthy. If you want more coverage, this is not a product for that. It's gonna frustrate the heck out of you. But if you want something that disappears into the skin and looks like really healthy skin, the foundation and the concealer are incredible. They're really, really pretty. I will say from close up, it's not tolerating the powder quite as well as I would have liked, but I mean, something dewy like this is just, I mean, it's really wild to expect it to, but it is, I mean, it's not terrible. It definitely does it and it works well with its own powder, you know? And I definitely think that the powder products, even though I didn't get to show you the bronzer today, their powder products are off the charts gorgeous. Like their blush, their bronzer, their setting powder, it's absurd. Like it's super finely milled. They call it skin mimetic. It does a really, really fantastic job. And the bronzer colors, if I recall correctly, are really gorgeous. I need to like get those again. The waterproof eyeliner, I have no memory of. The Lip Reset Overnight Lip Mask, I would absolutely pass on these. I heard a lot of people raving about them. My opinion is not the final word on anything. I just don't like how much I can taste the fragrance, okay? And I just wanna let y'all know, if you're a person who's really sensitive to that, yuck. The Serum Balm and the Serum Balm Intense are lovely. They are very much like, I feel like it's not quite as in style right now. Can you tell? Like I'm very conscious of like how sticky my face is right now. I'm not used to wearing things that have this much dew to them lately. It's not been as in style lately to make liquid lip balms, and they are liquid lip balms in just a really nice way. It is very much like a nourishing lip gloss that is on the less sticky side. And it's good, but it's like not the most memorable thing in the world. The Hydrascape, I gotta highly recommend it. I do think that it's gonna be something that I'm reintegrating, especially because it's $36. Come on. Oh my God, I'm so sticky. I'm so sticky. It's just not what I'm used to. Yeah, the Moisturizing Reverse Emulsion, it's gorgeous. And that's how this level of dew, this is how I want to look when I go to sleep. I'm not sure about during the day anymore, but yeah, when I go to sleep, for sure. So yeah, for $36, especially because again, like, you know, there are so many products like this that are so much more expensive pound for pound. This one's really lovely. Comes in glass. It's just nice. I do love their Cream Supreme High Impact Lipstick. I did have to declutter all of them because they had expired, but my God, if you want a long lasting, really high pigment lipstick, I did a reel? Yeah, on Instagram, trying on every single one of them, and there's like 20 of them, I think, so I was like, pray for my lips, but you can see all of them on me to the tune of blinding lights. Me and everybody else. Okay, yeah, the Skin Mimetic Micro Suede Blush, I love it. They did a really good job because half the shades are geared towards fair skin and half of them are more intense for deeper skin. They did a really, really lovely job. And in all the powders, the pans pop out and are replaceable, so you don't have to replace the whole component, which is just great. I love that. And the components are beautiful. I mean, that's the eyeshadow, that's the powder. I mean, I've had this for ages, but like, I've always liked the decisions that they've made with their compacts. So yeah, the Diffusion Set Translucent Pressed Powder, I recommend it really highly. In fact, I want to go ahead and replace mine because I forgot how great it is. The Liquid Line Waterproof Felt Tip Eyeliner, those are a lot of fun. I don't wear waterproof eyeliner, A, because I'm no good at it, and B, because the older I get, the less I like, especially as like a medium contrast person, I just don't like sharp lines on my face. If I can avoid it, I like things to just be a little blurrier. And so a liquid liner is just too high stakes and it just doesn't look quite right on me. But man, they have a zillion colors and they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, the Skin Mimetic Micro Suede Bronzer is another one that I need to go ahead and replace because wow, and that lightest shade is so rosy. It's really, really beautiful. The Infinite Brow Nano Pencil, again, lovely, but like it bears absolutely like no difference from one eyebrow pencil to the next. It's just a really good eyebrow pencil, much like many of them are. Inner Tube Plumping Lip Treatment, while lovely and only tastes, I believe, like mint, I didn't find it to be plumping. And they do sell sets and refills, and their brushes are also quite lovely. So final thoughts on Make Beauty. I feel like they do still have a really strong point of view. I feel like, you know, they had a burst of some of their most innovative ideas like all at once a couple of years ago, and my tastes have evolved for sure. Like, do I think that I'm going to be wearing this foundation a whole lot more going forward? Maybe. It's something that makes my skin look really healthy. I just need to have expectations set properly for it because it's gonna be dewier than, again, anything that I've been used to being able to wear lately. Like, you know, stuff that tolerates powder really well and that I'm gonna put a setting mist on. Like, I wouldn't dream of putting a setting mist on this right now. It would make it a sludgy mess. The concealer is incredibly special, but I think that the marquee products for them, besides their complexion, like if the complexion is for you, are their powder products. I think that their bronzer, their setting powder, their blushes are all absolutely off the charts, really special, and the colors are there. So yeah, I'm glad that I refreshed my memory on all of this, and I like the face of makeup that I ended up with because it put me in like outside my comfort zone in a lot of ways. You know, I'm used to, again, kind of like doing a lot more steps than this, and I'm also not used to having light blue shimmer on my eyes, but I like it. I think it's really pretty. So let me know y'all's thoughts down below. Have you been using Make Beauty since their kind of initial burst of popularity, or have they kind of faded off of your radar too? And also, what other brands would you like me to revisit and see if, you know, my tastes have changed or if time has made me grow fonder for them and things like that? What really rises to the top? If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here or just have not subscribed yet, please subscribe while you're here. We would love to have you. Thank you for being here, for hanging out with us today. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.